What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Joe Kilgallon podcast, aka Kilgallon's Pub. This is a very special episode. I'm very excited for this. This is episode number 200. Can you believe it, people? We've had 200 episodes of the Joe Kilgallon podcast. Started off as Kilgallon's Pub. It's still Kilgallon's Pub at heart, right? If you're listening for the first time, I'll give you a quick reason why I changed the name. It was simply because I thought it would help YouTube views. I thought more people search Joe Kilgallon, it would pop up more so than Kilgallon's Pub. People are stupid out there. They're thinking Kilgallon's Pub. I want to watch funny videos. I don't want to see people drinking whiskey, but people drinking whiskey is funny videos. That's where you guys all fucked up. Okay. So we're going to have some fun with this live one. That's right. If you're listening to this a couple days from now in your car, we are actually live right now simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube. I chose those two because that's what we used to do back in the day. My guests will incorporate some of that, some of the start of this great podcast way back. Damn, I want to say in 2018. But before I bring on our guest, I want to thank all the Patreon subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thanks so much for all the support. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to the podcast on whatever the fuck you listen to podcasts on, YouTube in particular. If you follow me on TikTok, Instagram, whatever you do to support this podcast, myself, I really appreciate it. Already getting some congratulations. Ron Grant popping in the chat, already saying congrats on 200. Thank you very much. I can't believe it's been 200 episodes. It's been quite a ride. And I'm enjoying it. And we ain't fucking slowing down. And the man who was the engine behind this podcast for a long time, for probably the bulk of the episodes, and a man who really was the goddamn glue. The guy who was what else can I say? The one and only, like the godfather of Chicago comedy, definitely on the digital side of things. Let's welcome on the original producer of this podcast, the one and only James Webb is back, everybody.
Hey, buddy.
How are you, man? Let's go this way. I want
It's
to
good.
this way or this way.
Whatever you want, dude. I like the production value of the green is cool. Yeah,
Let's go that way.
Yeah.
Dude, you look jacked, man.
Stop. I'm gonna go put on a fucking hoodie.
Hell no, dude. Let those pythons show.
What's up, everybody? 200. This one's 1. This one's 2. No, it's good to be back, dude. I missed you so much. I'm glad you're still going, dude. This is great. Yeah. How have you been?
Dude, I've been good, man. I've been just figuring shit out, trying to enjoy the summer. I had a crazy flashback. We're gonna kick it off the way we used to. Remember how I always like doing it Jeopardy style, where we just got into a topic, and then you got to know the guest a little bit later. So we're gonna launch into something, and then I want the listeners to know what's going on in your world, because I know they miss you. Chad McDaniels already wrote James motherfucking Webb.
Yeah,
so people are happy to see you. And James, by the way, is doing insane things. Even if like the pandemic didn't happen, James would have gotten so busy he would have been like, listen, Kilgallon, I don't have time for your rinky-dink little podcast.
Absolutely not. How dare you? Absolutely not. You're always number one in my book, Joey.
Thanks, my man. Dude, I don't know why this hit me. For some reason, I saw a Northern Illinois sweatshirt. Someone was wearing a Northern Illinois sweatshirt. Okay. Then I had a flashback to the first time I ever went to a strip club, because it was after I went to see Northern Illinois versus the University of Michigan for my cousin Brian's bachelor party near Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because I want to know if you remember the first time you went to a strip club. Here's my memory, and here's what made me think, dude, we're thinking about time as a weird thing these days, right? And it's one of those things where, everyone who listens knows my father passed away earlier this year. So I've been kind of having some existential shit going on in my life a little bit with how I view what matters and what doesn't matter. Yeah. But I had a really weird, trippy thought. And I thought about the first lap dance I got. And then I realized, oh shit, the woman who gave me that lap dance probably looks terrible now, because that was like 17 years ago.
Oh shit. Yeah. Oh my god.
Let's say she was a 22-year-old stripper then. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Strippers age like presidents, dude.
Like, okay. That's very general, but sure, yeah.
Am I being a little mean? Maybe, but I just started to think to myself,
yeah.
You're a stripper in a small town in Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how many kids does she have now? How many arrests?
Top of the class, yeah.
No, not top of the class. She had a fake Russian accent that I really appreciated. It helped the whole thing, She
put it on real thick for you?
It just didn't feel right. It felt very like just very evil. You know what I mean? Like
That's fun.
I think her name was like, my name is Natasha, and what do you want me to do? Would you like me to touch my nipples? And I'm like, is this German or Russian? You're kind of inconsistent there. I hope you're not in acting classes here at the University of Michigan. It's
Yeah.
one of those things.
Natasha, why did you choose Northern Michigan of all places to come to from Russia? Tell me about that.
I don't know, man. But we've driven through the country.
Yeah.
You have, I have.
Yeah.
And there are strip clubs in random small towns. I've never been inside them, but I wonder, do they recruit Eastern European immigrants?
I mean, it'd probably be easy for both parties. Yeah, I would assume. I mean, maybe she wasn't fake, dude. Maybe you're just being racist.
Is it? I guess that's a form of racism. You're just doubting someone's accent. What about you, my man? Have you? Do you remember your first time in a strip club? If so, you want to share with the class?
I don't remember like details. So like I'm a suburbs. Like I grew up in like the western suburbs. And the club out there was a spot called Diamonds. That was where all the kids would go. Like the St. Charles, Warrenville, Wheaton, Glen Ellen area, and like. I mean, it was a classy joint, dude. Like they had, like it was pretty, no, like upper Michigan fucking, middle of the week workers there. It was like some all-stars for sure. But yeah, I was like, God, I couldn't have been like a few days over 18. And I've been there, I went a few times like until I turned like 20. I was never a strip club guy, dude. Like I just didn't get it. Like it was cool to go and like see girls when you were like a kid, but it's just like, now it's just like, I feel like it's a waste of money. But, yeah, I don't remember specifics, man. I'm sorry. It was like I remember being really nice and smelling really good and like
Nice. I mean,
it was nice.
It does smell okay.
They did a good job. I didn't eat anything there, thank God. But no, it was cool. It was very classy for what it was. I think it was very classy. Yeah, I can tell you about my most memorable strip club experience though.
Pray tell.
This is not a story that I tell many people. So when I was 19, my dad took me on his annual trip to Mexico for the first time, and we went to Cabo San Lucas, and this was fucking. It was almost 20 years ago. It's disgusting to say that. I feel so old, but like, and we went to the little strip where like all the bars are on this one strip in Cabo San Lucas, and. Like I didn't know what my dad like gave me and my buddy Tyler like $500 each in cash, and we're just like go party. And so we were like,
your dad
right,
sounds awesome.
My dad rips, dude. He's the Phil Webb rips. So like we're running around at like 2 a.m. in this foreign country with no sense of what's going on, and there's like hookers in the street like. This one chick, we were wasted. We found this one chick, and she was like, "I'll do both of you for $300." And I was like trying to be the good guy. I was like, "No, we can't do that." Tyler was like, "Please, dog." So I was like, "No." So I drag him away from the hooker, and there's this little dude. So you remember like Odd Job from James Bond, like the short guy with the suit on, the top hat?
Oh, of course, because you weren't allowed to be him.
Yeah, you play Goldeneye. You know the
If you
rule.
play Goldeneye, you couldn't be Odd Job.
You're an ass.
It's not fair.
Right. So. This Odd Job looking dude is like standing on the edge of the street where like all the clubs are, so it's like starts to get dark and like neighborhoody a little bit, and he's like beckoning us over. He's like, come here, I got you guys want to have some fun? And Tyler's just so like down to do whatever. He's just like, James, come on, bro. So we go over there, and it's the stupidest thing I ever fucking did. And we follow this guy into like he opens a door to this like apartment building. We go up like 3 or 4 flights of stairs, and a door opens to what I thought was going to be where we would get murdered in someone's house, but it was a fully operational strip club, like in the most inconspicuous looking place, like in like 1,000 square, like 2,000 square foot, like 20-foot ceiling, like lights, the whole thing, whatever. Like you thought you were transported into it was basically Diamonds in like on like the fourth floor of this apartment building. But it was like empty, and it was Saturday night, totally empty except for like 3 girls dancing. It was really kind of sad. And then 2 girls just immediately like walked over to us, dragged us to the champagne room, and started dancing. Tyler got full service or close to full service. I was like, no, thank you. I don't know what's going to come back with me. 10 minutes later, we left. Can't believe we didn't die. Some more shit happened that night that I won't go into, but that was my most memorable strip club experience. Was almost for sure another universe I was murdered in that building. But it was cool. It was fun. I'm alive, so
No, dude,
worked out.
that's part of it, man. The whole stories thing. And you mentioned previously, you're like, oh yeah, when you're young, strip clubs are fun. When you get older, they're a waste of money. No,
Yeah.
they're always a waste of money.
Yeah.
And
I won't. I disagree. I hard disagree.
well, I mean, come on.
If you're like 18 and you're getting out in the world, you're like learning about how shit works or whatever. Go to a strip club and see how seedy it gets or how fun it gets. You can learn a lot. Excuse me, when you're 18, between 18 and 21 by going to strip clubs. If after 21, if you're going to strip clubs, you're an absolute fucking scumbag and you don't talk to me. But before that, dude, get out there, experience some fun. I don't regret going when I did, but I definitely stopped going after I turned 21, So,
Okay, I'll get behind that. 18 to 21 is your strip club prime sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any bills, right? You're young. It's kind of like a fun thing to do. You're paying for the experience more than anything.
Yeah.
You show up with sweatpants on, right? You got, light gray. Let that little drippage show. Just fucking around. Don't be those guys, okay, guys? But I'll say this. If any women are listening, you need to know the strip club is if you go to one in Mexico, some shit will go down like James just said.
Yeah.
95% of strip clubs on the planet, though, the dude sits there, hands at his side, can't touch the stripper at all. Because if he even grazes her side boob, there's some dude who's 6'4", who's been dying to punch someone in the back of the head all night long.
Yeah. No,
right?
Definitely not like that in Mexico. It was please touch me, please, and I was very kind. I was like, no, thank you. But yeah, if you do that shit here, you're done. No touch it. Waste of money. If you're going there to do stuff, don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're basically paying for the experience, but
Pornhub's free, so
Pornhub's free. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that popped in my head again. I saw It's like this whole degrees of separation. I'm like Northern Illinois. Oh yeah, I remember when I went to see Northern Illinois versus University of Michigan at the Big House. That was fun. And then I'm like, oh, the strip club. And what was crazy was my cousin's cousin. He at the time was a heavy drinker. We were supposed to find my cousin, strippers because he was the bachelor.
Sure.
So you always find the bachelor, the main strippers. And then what they do is they humiliate the guy.
Right.
They'll put him up on stage and then they'll smack him around and they'll be assholes. And it's not fun. Again, there's so little sexuality goes. I mean, they're naked. So that part's cool. Yeah. But again, like I told you, it's just a big tease and it's more annoying than it is anything at some points.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to find us strippers. And he's like, I gotcha. And then we didn't, he just disappeared. And then out of nowhere, there was a conga line of strippers came out from behind the stage and he was in the goddamn middle of it.
Oh,
and we're like, holy shit, look at this motherfucker.
He's cool as hell.
And we're all like, I won't say his actual name. So for the sake of it, Dennis, I got a Dennis Rodman card right next to me.
There you go.
We're like, yo, Dennis. And then he sees us and he's like, holy shit, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Yeah. And we're like, we drove you. Are you insane? What is happening right now? And then we saw him again 3 hours later at a 24-hour Walmart. They were trying to get food at 4 a.m, and he didn't know how he even got there. It was crazy. I think I found out 3 days later that it was almost $6,000 he spent in a strip club.
Yo, dude, holy
it's crazy.
Shit. What a legend, bro. Oh my god.
My man Eddie Kilgallon wanted to chime in here in the chat saying that his first experience is still talked about, and I said, pray tell us, Eddie. He said a stripper sucked up a dollar bill and dropped some change. Wow. Wow. James Bailey says, happy 200. Thank you, James Bailey, my guy.
What's up, James?
All right. Enough of the silliness of the strip club. James Webb, as a lot of you longtime listeners, started a great podcast studio in Chicago called Put 'Em Over Productions at, and then it was called,
Pop Studios. People of Comedy was the network.
People of Comedy was the network.
Studios was the building.
Yeah.
And you were one of the first people to believe in that project, and I will never stop thanking you for that.
Oh no, man! I a lot of the gratitude's on my end towards you. It was a great home. I loved it, and then basically the pandemic happened, and life had to adjust. My wife, being a nurse on the COVID floor in particular, made it so that I was really grounded at home. We couldn't risk anything because if I would have gotten COVID, she would have had to take off work to take care of our kids, and then no money's coming in. So it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I miss going to your place all the time because it was always a fun hang.
Yeah.
One of those things where it's like, all right, we're gonna podcast from 9 to 10, and then we'd sit and bullshit for like another 45 minutes to an hour.
It'd be like 3 hours later, and we'd be done. It was
I
fun
know,
though, man.
Your poor wife must have been
Linda-
like, are these
Linda
motherfuckers
put up
gonna
with a
leave?
lot.
Yeah, she put up with a lot, that's for sure. Tell the people what you're working on these days.
Oh man, I've kind of pivoted away. Well, the studio, rest in peace. We had to move, so we had to take that apart. It was located in where I lived, so we rented, so we had to take it apart. And kind of for a little bit, actually, I was looking at a move to New York. There's some stuff out there for me. There still is, but it just didn't work out. So we're still here. But since the studio kind of died down and all that, I've pivoted into filming like live specials more and more. I mean, you're kind of one of the first people who brought me on to film specials in the first place. We did. I think I did your second one.
Yeah, you did my second one. Can't complain.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
It was true, dude. I tell this story to everybody too. Like this was back when, so the Andrew Schultz days when like Schultzy was like kind of really just started taking off, and like he changed the model for like how comedy was supposed to be done for independent people. And you were a huge proponent of that, and thank God you were, because you kind of adopted his model and grew your YouTube channel from, I think it was 150 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers off of that one special. It was tremendous.
Yeah, no, definitely. Schultz, I remember we filmed it in like early February of 2019, and I had heard of him because I did a show with him in LA. Sure. We were on like the same lineup together when he was visiting LA. He's a New York guy. And I remember being like, oh yeah, good set, just saying hi, pleasantries, but didn't really talk to him much. And then we filmed the hour, didn't really know what to do with it yet. And because it had been a good 4 or 5 years between that one and my first one.
Yeah.
A lot happened in between. I got married, had a kid and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
And then I was like, all right, what do we do with it? All this kind of shit we're talking around. And I had the one idea from seeing this Nipsey Hussle who had just died. I was watching a couple of his clips, and he was talking to that one Gary Vaynerchuk guy, and they were talking about like what SoundCloud rappers do, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I could do it with comedy. And then Chris Bader, who's a good dude, told me about Andrew Schultz being on
Happy birthday, podcast. Chris Bader, by the way.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Bader. Love that dude. And so he said Schultz was on someone's podcast. You should really watch the interview. I watched it, and the way he broke it down by saying like, making comedy digestible and putting it in clip form and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, this dude's fucking 100% right. Yep. And then we just followed that model. And it did, yeah, it really went up. And I think even the 150 I was at was because I was telling people, hey, 2 weeks from today, I'm going to release it on YouTube. Yeah. So that was mostly like Facebook and Twitter friends following me.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was just strangers. And it was crazy how
it was very organic. It was very
extremely organic.
Yeah.
Which was nice to see. And then when we released the second one a year later, it did well, but the algorithm changed where they wanted you to do full specials instead of just clips. And it was also the pandemic. A lot of people don't realize this. I read several articles about it, though. YouTube views, podcast listens, and, some other random thing were all down during the pandemic. And I've said this to people, and they all look at me like, that's crazy because everyone was at home. And I go, exactly. People weren't going to the gym to work out. A lot of people listen to podcasts at the gym on the treadmill. Yeah. People listen to podcasts on their ride to work, or they watch YouTube on the ride to work. Yeah. You know what I mean? So all the stuff that you would do to distract yourself when you're out in the world, you were at home. I know I wasn't watching YouTube and listening to podcasts when I was at home. I was watching HBO Go and Netflix and stuff like that, like because you had more time to do that kind of shit. So it was interesting to see. And I told McMullen do that one. I wanted to have different looks on each one of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm going back to James for this one, October 1st, New York City at the Gutter. Well, it's one of those things where you go back to, look, I loved working with you. I love working with Toby. I've been very fortunate that everyone I've worked with has been really goddamn cool. But I really, honestly, this isn't just kissing your ass. I really think that year-round comedy so much that I think you just have a really good eye for it.
Thanks.
Like for someone who's not a comedian, you know when the joke needs to be stopped. Like, because I've seen some specials where I'm like, why the fuck did they make a cut there?
Sure.
Who the fuck directed this? You know?
Sure. Well, I mean, and I've made all those mistakes too. You know, that's just part of growing. But
Who's some of the people you've done specials for? I know the names. I just want you to name drop.
God, I hate this. You know, I hate this.
All right, I'll name them.
No, that's fine.
Going from worst to best.
Worst to best. So Joe Kilgallon, number 2.
Terrible.
No. Let's see. I just so Ken Garr, former Chicago comic, now LA comic. We just filmed him earlier this year at Joe's Bar, and that's a significant one too. So like a little behind the curtains inside baseball stuff. When you record a special, generally what you want to do is do at least 2 shows, so you can get, if there's a mistake in one of the shows, you can have coverage from the other show to kind of make it seamless and flow well. Ken Garr is a maniac and did 1 show at Joe's on Weed with 350 fucking people.
Wow.
Nailed it. Absolutely fucking destroyed the 1 take. And so that's on YouTube, by the way. Please, Ken Garr, check that out. So that was something we did this year. There's a couple specials I haven't even been able to finish yet that I've done. Kenny DeForest, former Chicago comedian, New York guy.
Been on Comedy Central. He's been on Late Night with Seth Meyers. He's a great guy.
Everywhere, dude. And all around phenomenal person, by the way. Great blow up mattress if you're in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. He did one at CYSK in Brooklyn, and that one is special to me because he's a really cool, like, he came up with the entire intro outro sequence, and it's very complicated but simple at the same time. And I don't want to give it away, but it flows. The intro flows into the special and then flows back into the outro in a very cinematic way. And the special itself, it's filmed at CYSK Brooklyn. So if you know what it looks like, it's a brick wall with the CYSK logo behind it. We completely redid the room for it. It looks like it was filmed in like a fucking like a trip head's fever dream, but like in the coolest possible way. So that one I'm actually going to start editing next. So Kenny DeForest, Pat Tomasulo, if you're a Chicago guy, WGN, sportscaster for them for the last decade and some change. We filmed that at Zany's Rosemont. We totally redid that room. And you know, thank God for Pat Tomasulo. He really gave me a lot of love this last year. He started.
You produced his podcast.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tomasulo podcast, right?
Yeah, that one ended. Yeah, James Bailey.
Wait, he's done doing it?
Yeah, we stopped. So like we kind of like when this all this New York shit, and I feel terrible like when I thought I was gonna move and like all this stuff was happening. And we'll get into that in a little bit, I guess.
Okay.
But like,
I'm sorry, I just didn't know that. So I didn't. Sometimes I forget. It's like you're doing a professional podcast. You can't just stop and be like, "Oh, what'd he say next?" Like it's gotta be a show.
No, yeah. So yeah, we stopped because like, I thought I was moving, and like it just, you know, we did a lot with that show. But Pat really kind of wanted to focus more of his time on stand up, and he runs a great foundation called Laugh Your Face Off, which helps trigeminal neuralgia, which is a facial pain disorder that his wife has. And so there really wasn't enough time to kind of focus on that. But his special is great, and we did that at Zany's Rosemont this year. And then there's another one that's about to come out that I just finished the second to last draft of. If you're a comedy fan, you've probably heard his name. You've seen him he just did David Letterman at the Netflix as a Joke Festival. Sam Morrill hired me on to direct and produce his latest special that we filmed at the Den in Chicago. He picked Chicago to do it because he knows Chicago's a great comedy town. And that one, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. There's some stuff attached to that too that I can't talk about just yet. I'm going to let him break that news, but I'm very excited for what that's going to be doing. So
As you should be. Sam, I'm sure most people listening know, if you're a comedy fan at all, Sam's probably one of the best comedians. I definitely think I have him in my top 5. Not that I'm constantly ranking and updating my rank
Sure.
list or whatever, but he's a dude who's just so consistent.
Yeah.
Really just solid joke writer, constantly coming up with new stuff too. I feel like he is just 100% eats, drinks, and breathes stand-up comedy, which you really got to admire, you know.
Oh,
He's got a great podcast or two, probably. I think everyone's got a podcast or two. I'm pretty sure him and Mark Norman started a whiskey or something.
The Bodega Cat came out 2 days ago. It's great. Everyone go buy a bottle. I think it's $40 for a handle. It's not expensive, and it's really good whiskey. So definitely check it out.
I'm still going to start a
Cat.
beer.
You should, dude. What?
It's been in the works in my brain for a couple of years now.
What are you going to call it?
I don't have a name yet,
Okay.
but I do have a brewery I like a lot. But people just be on the lookout. But I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm happy for them. Good for them. But when it came out, I remember being like, when I release my beer one day, are people going to be like, you know, I look, they got a way bigger fan base than me, the two of them together. So it's smart for them to collaborate. So in my brain, I'm like, once I get up to that certain level, I think to myself, once I get to 100,000 followers on some platform, that's when I could start to do little shit like that,
man.
you know?
Yeah.
Halfway there on one of them. But yeah, man, dude, that's great, dude. I'm glad I'm glad comedians nationally are seeing what Chicago comedians saw with you and everything you did. And yeah, dude, that's fucking crazy, dude. That's
thanks, buddy. Yeah, a lot of this, you know, and I'm not moving. Like we
yeah, you were gonna move to New York, but you were always gonna be like here half the time in New York half the time. So nobody really was gonna be like, and here, look, I'm cutting you off a little bit, but I want to because James Webb is notorious for being Chicago comedians. You don't have to move to a coast. You don't have to move to New York. You don't have to move to LA. If everyone just stays here, it'll force the industry here. We're fucking Chicago. None of this feeder city bullshit. And I always respect and admire that. Granted, I remember being like, all right, cool, I'm moving to LA next year. Like, if you gave that speech.
Fucking dick.
Yeah, I remember you made a big post. It came up one of my Facebook memories not that long ago where it's like, don't leave, you dick, or something like that. I can't remember what you wrote.
It was your headlining show at Stand Up, your goodbye show. It was like,
it was
don't leave shithead
show.
Or something.
Yeah, don't leave shithead or something.
I
don't know.
that.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
And then I came back. No, but look, you are right more than ever is that whatever you want to do, comedy wise, or pretty much any art form these days, obviously there's exceptions. You could really do it from anywhere.
I'm in Madison, Wisconsin right now. And like the shit they're doing here, I'm filming a special here tomorrow, not to cut you off, but we're doing cool shit here. Comedy on State. I'm sitting in one of the coolest looking fucking green rooms. I wish I could spin my computer around without unplugging a bunch of shit. But like they know how to do comedy up here. That you can the accessibility to like the technology that the Hollywoods or whoever have had for the last 100 years is now available to us. Like we can do. I filmed Sam on. Oh man, I almost said it. I filmed Sam on gear that was not. Like acceptable on the platform it's going to live on until I campaigned to them to be like, hey, let us just do it this way. And they were like, all right, let's see it. And we did it. So like you can do shit yourself anywhere now. Like that. I'm glad you brought up the thing that I told everybody because it's coming true, motherfuckers. Like you really don't have to leave anywhere to do what you want to do. So
well, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it depends on what you want to do, you know, and not to make this too comedy specific, but other people out there, if you're trying to do certain shit.
Like if you want to be in a Marvel movie, you got to move to fucking Los Angeles. But like if you want to do comedy special, if you want to film a series, if you want to do like if you wrote a series or like a sketch or something. I know a couple of people in the Chicago comedy scene right now there's this very, very talented director out there, Stephen Haas. Is out there right now filming a feature in Chicago and it's going to be amazing. I guarantee it's going to be amazing. If you go ahead.
Stephen Haas is great. I love all the sketch work he does.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's a very funny stand-up too. But yeah, the videos he puts up, on TikTok and Instagram Reels are fucking phenomenal. It's one of those things though, dude. If you just excuse me, I'm also drinking Red Breast whiskey. Everybody, shout out to my guy Jonah Jerkins who bought me this bottle of Red Breast single pot still Irish whiskey, aged 12 years, product of Ireland. Don't know where in Ireland, but it's fucking damn good. Anyhow, so I coughed on the whiskey there for a little bit. It's one of those things where if you build up a fan base, you could really do whatever the fuck you want. You mentioned like, oh yeah, I might have to live in LA to be in a Marvel movie, but yeah, like obviously Kumail, who's in Marvel movies now, stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
You know, he was in The Eternals. I have a Happy Meal toy of him. The guy's a fucking Happy Meal toy. I used to see him when I started. He was still doing shitty open mics. I mean, he's much older than me, and started, you know, when like my first year of Chicago stand up, he was like his last year. So I got fortunate enough where him and a couple of the older comics, whatever, took a little bit of a liking to me and gave me great advice to the point where I think early on people thought I was a veteran for way longer.
Yeah.
I remember being like at parties and someone being like, how old are you? And I'm like 23. And they're like, 23? Jesus, I thought you were 28. And I'm like, do I look 28? Like, no, you just got maturity. And then I let that go to my head and I didn't grow at all as a comedian. I just kind of stayed still. But I mean, fuck all that shit. But like, look, he became a you know, famous comedian essentially. And then through that, the acting opportunities came. Yeah, he was living in LA, but if you have the fan base now you will get the opportunities. They'll come knocking. So if there are any comedians listening, that's something to think about, or do whatever the fuck you want to do. Who the fuck are we to tell you? Shit like that.
What do we know?
We know. Fucking know. James Webb, dude. So you're a big fan of Dane Cook. What is it like having your hero get dragged on Twitter? I mean, clearly, dude, look, you dress like Dane Cook now. Where's your wristbands?
I dress like a 50-year-old? Oh my God. Yeah, no, he's cool. He's a cool guy who, you know, has sex with people who are half his age. That's fun.
Look, I'll say this. I met Dane Cook a few times in LA.
I'm sure he's real nice.
No, he was super fucking cool, super nice. I got nothing to knock him for. I just thought it was funny that it was trending all over the place. And here's the thing. I'm not sticking up for, I'm not saying, look though, if you're, look, she's 23. I don't know when the fuck they dated, but it does make me laugh how consumed people get.
When the article says his longtime love and is finally and she's 23, how long is a long time, dude? That's kind of, you might want to get a little bit obsessed with that, especially if you're like a cop or something. I don't know. That's time.
Pretty bad. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
But look, in Hollywood, 2 years is a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it really is. You ever see interviews with celebrities? I saw an interview with Kurt Cobain once in 1993, and he was like, "Oh, that was a long time ago." And I'm watching it, going, "No, it was 2 years ago. It's not a long time ago. That album came out 2 years ago, and you're acting like it was decades ago."
I mean, Pete and Kim only lasted 9 months, and that felt like years. So
it did because fucking society talked about them so goddamn much.
Every
Pete Davidson will be fine. Everyone, he'll bounce back. Do people think they're going to get married?
I thought they would.
Really? I didn't think they would.
They seemed great together. I was very invested in this, by the way. It was fun to watch.
Dude, I bet I don't know who broke up with who, but I guarantee you he was over her after 2 months or a month. He had all the sex he could. He was like, this girl's got a great ass. She's fun in the sack. But this circus is getting boring. But he only wanted to keep it going to fuck with Kanye.
Dude, he's in trauma therapy because of Kanye. I think he wanted to get out because he wanted to survive. Because this fucking lunatic, Kanye's a lunatic, dude.
No, Kanye is a lunatic, but
he's genius, but he's out of his fucking mind, dude.
Well, most geniuses are out of their fucking mind. That's a sad truth, right?
Yeah, but most geniuses don't make music videos of claymation versions of the guy dating their ex-wife getting killed and then, you know, fucking burying him alive in the desert. Like that's a little much. I think.
Most people don't have the budget for that kind of video,
very
man.
true.
You got the budget for that kind of revenge, dude. Point. Oh, man.
That's a good point, yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, no, fucking, I thought they would last forever, dude. It was love. It was meant to be. I guess not, though. You know.
Well, look, Pete Davidson's been pretty open about his mental health problems.
Yeah.
So maybe he really did need to see some trauma therapy because Kanye was getting to his head a little bit. I always root for the comedian. So me rooting for Pete, I'm really hoping he was just thinking, yo, listen, Kanye, I got bored of that puss 6 months ago, but I'm going to keep banging it just to piss you off.
Hey,
You know what I
man.
mean? And I don't think, and look, from the rumors I've heard about Pete Davidson,
Oh yeah.
Kanye may be a genius, but he's not measuring up to Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete's swinging that Davidson around, dude. He's got it going on.
And this should tell people that mental health issues are real and it's not in your head, because Pete Davidson is the reason the phrase big dick energy exists.
Yeah.
It was coined off of the shit with him and that short, cute girl who pretends she's Hispanic, but she's not.
Yeah,
Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Right? She kind of coined that after him. Imagine waking up every morning and knowing I'm the reason the phrase big dick energy is a
Pretty
thing.
cool. It's pretty cool. And then,
That's
a year
beyond fucking
later, you get to date Kim Kardashian because of
Yeah.
it, so.
But you're still sad and you're still battling depression. So that should tell people depression is real. Because if that doesn't cure your sadness, then obviously it's not a made up thing. For those of you, for the people who still kind of doubt mental health shit.
Yeah.
Some people just
Especially
say,
dudes.
puffing up.
Especially dudes. Who's that fighter that Irish kid who gave that big long speech after his UFC bout?
He's actually English, Paddy the Baddie.
Oh, is he
But
English? Okay.
Maybe his relatives are from Ireland. I don't know, but he's born in England.
He had some kind of twang in there, but like I've watched that speech over and over again. I suffer from mental health stuff. I think we all do. And it's important, and I'm glad Pete's getting help. He needs to get help because Kanye's not going to shut up. So.
Well, Kanye needs to get help too, man, because it's one of those things where his legacy should have been, dude. That's why this is such a harsh thing to say, and I don't say it lightly, and I'm of course not being really serious. But every now and then you think of a celebrity and you go, man, I wonder if they would have died a little while ago, how we would have viewed them. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
Like, it's that old thing in The Dark Knight, like live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
The villain, yeah. I mean, Kanye's definitely become the villain. I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, he's still a genius, but the genius is like, Donda sucked. I thought. I mean, there was some good
Donda
tracks,
was
but
great.
you thought it was great.
Donda was great.
Great,
Man,
dude.
great. Capital G, dude. I love Donda. Donda was so good.
I thought it was one of his worst albums.
Not a skippable track on that. If you listen to it in its entirety, it's so good. I loved it. It's not College Dropout, but it's like,
Well, of course not.
nothing
Yeah.
is College Dropout. But Donda was great. I loved it, and it was
I'm gonna have
also,
to give it another listen because I just don't get it.
What was the one before that? Like the gospel one. That one was not good, but Donda was good.
And what was the one before that? Life of Pablo or something?
Life of Pablo was okay.
That was okay.
Father Stretch Your Hands was great, but like on Life of Pablo. But anyway, we could talk about Kanye for hours. But he sucks.
He's
Fuck
interesting.
him. He's interesting, but did you see the doc? Did you watch Kanye doc?
No, dude, I'm Kanye'd out. There's certain things I'll watch eventually, but I need shit to die down. I can't consume the thing that everyone's consuming, because then halfway into it, I'll be like, fuck this guy. I'm so sick of hearing about him, you know?
I mean, you should watch it though. If you're a guy who likes to consume like the data, you like to see why, like the rise of people and why things work the way they are. You're what's the word? Informationally inclined, I guess, because I can't think of the actual word. But like you like to break things down. There's so much information in the Kanye doc just about like how, and it's a rise to success from, everyone told him he was nothing and he'd never be good enough and blah blah blah, and now he's the craziest person in the world with billions of dollars. But like it's definitely worth the watch for sure when you get some time. So.
No, I'm thinking I'll give it a watch. I'm still a Kanye fan per se, right? Like, I'll never not like Kanye.
Yeah.
You know, I used to have a fantasy about doing a show at the Chicago Theater and having Kanye play Homecoming to fucking bring me out.
That would be so sick, dude.
So like, I still like Kanye.
Yeah.
I worry about Kanye, and I think sometimes it's like, all right, you gotta like, you just don't know with him how much of it's an act or not, and maybe that's part of the genius. Maybe part of him, he might be so next level with his thinking, where he's like, none of this shit's real. We live in a weird society where everyone puts out versions of themselves on the internet. Like, how many people do we know that like their Instagram, you think they're living the greatest life in the world, and then you see them in person, you're like, this person is barely hanging on and I'm worried about them, you know?
Yeah.
So he might think, all right, I'll keep the real me for me and for the people I love.
Yeah.
And the rest of this shit, I'll just project like almost like a pro wrestler. You meet,
Yeah.
these
Kayfabe
dudes.
Kanye.
Yeah, we're friends with a really great pro wrestler.
Yeah.
He doesn't introduce himself as his wrestler name.
No. Yeah.
Although I used to have a joke about that, which I never really did a lot. I met Skrillex, that fucking DJ dude that was big like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I met him through Hannibal. Hannibal was doing the Red Bull holiday party and in LA. And I knew he was in town. So I just shot him a text being like, yo, I see you're in town. What are you up to tonight? And he's like, I'm doing this party. Come on out. They got free drinks and shit. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. So, he put me on his list. And then we're in the green room having some drinks, great spread of food. And then this dude walks in this like side door. And I knew I kind of recognized him. He was like right next to me. So he was like, hey, how you doing? I'm Sonny. And I'm like, oh, I'm Joe. Nice to meet you, man. And then he walked away. And I said to Hannibal, I'm like, who's that guy? And he's like, dude, it's Skrillex. Like, he looked at me like, how do you not know that it's Skrillex? Because it's like 2015 or 2016. Right. Skrillex was kind of a big deal still.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, he said his name is Sonny. And Hannibal's like, well, yeah, he's not going to walk around going, hi, I'm Skrillex.
That's his name. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, he fucking should. If I met Hulk Hogan and he was like, hi, I'm Terry, I'd be like, fuck you, you're Hulk Hogan. No guy named Terry made my childhood awesome. Guys named Terry do my taxes. They don't run wild.
Right.
Like, I was very annoyed by Skrillex, and it made me think, if you're a certain name, if you met Madonna and she said I don't know what the fuck her real name is, Nancy or some bullshit, you'd be like, dude. Same with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
You introduce yourself as Gaga or Lady.
Lady? Yeah. What do you do with that? No, I disagree. Hard disagree.
So you think Kanye's Kanye, or is he putting on a front?
Well, whenever Kanye posts anything now, I'm always immediately thinking he's about to release an album. Cause like he's like whenever there was like the whole Skeet Davidson thing, when that first started happening, he was building up to Donda and the doc coming out on Netflix. The second those things came out, a week went by, and then Kanye stopped talking. And then it was just like, okay, I guess he's gone. And yeah, Pete and Kim broke up. So, like, yeah, he's going to say something, I guess. But, like, if he keeps saying stuff over the next, like, week, I guarantee you in the next, like, month or month and a half, he's going to drop an album. So, that's part of his genius or whatever. I hate sucking his dick now because it's just, like, he's like, it's malicious marketing, dude. It's, like, so mean and horrible, but it works. And that's the worst part, isn't it? It fucking works. We all want to look. We can't say. It's like watching a constant NASCAR pileup. Just like looking at Kanye's timeline. Just like, who's going to crash now? Oh, this guy's on fire. Oh, and then it just goes away.
A tire goes into the crowd.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's in the people in the stands are dying. It's crazy. And then nothing for like a year. And then, here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oh, he's spinning out. And then it's just all over again. So if a month goes by and nothing else happens, then he's not doing anything. But I guarantee you he'll find something to bitch about in the next 6 months.
Has he responded to the Pete Davidson breakup yet?
Yeah, he posted a fucking, like a fake New York Times newspaper front page that said Skeet, like, R.I.P. Skeet, or Skeet Davidson is dead or something like that. It's the only thing on his Instagram right now. Hold on, let me look it up.
I just don't think Kanye's in any position to be like, I won. Like, she broke up with you, therefore I won. Like, how does Kanye think that? Pete Davidson can just be like, dude.
And he already deleted it. It's already gone. It was up for 2 days and now it's gone.
He's one of those people that's like, it's clear that he wants Kim back, but then he posts something stupid and one of his buddies must be like, dude, she's not gonna take you back. You keep posting that stupid shit.
Yeah. Or maybe he was posting stupid shit to get attention so that people would watch the doc and buy Donda. And
that's why
that stupid. Remember that fucking little thing that he made, the audio stem player that he had? Were you aware of that?
No.
Like right when the doc came out, there was it looked like a fucking like a Google Home Mini or something. It was like a little circle, and like it had like 4 little lines on it, and you could turn. It was kind of cool. You could turn up or down each individual piece of the track. So like the the synths or the vocals or the drum beat, and you could like mix your own track on it. But it was like $300, and it only played like it didn't work for MP3, so it was like this big proprietary thing. But every like right in the middle of all that, he would just like post, by the way, I'm coming out with this thing, like you better buy it, and then he would keep making fun of Pete. So like it's almost too obvious now. Where like hopefully enough people will be like, all right, fuck off, dude. Like we're not even gonna listen to you because we know you're just trying to sell shit.
Well, dude, how do we do that? How do we sell some shit like this? I have a theory. I think some comedians are getting smart to it. Just beef online?
Yeah, fight with your wife online, and then people will pay attention to you. And then in the middle
My
of
wife's
your
not online, though.
your wife fights. We'll make up a fake online wife, and then fight with her. And then in between the fights, be like, by the way, my new special's coming out, so let's buy that.
There you go.
Fuck this bitch. Yeah, do that.
Well, that's why I always
works.
thought Kanye and Trump were such good friends, because they like both have that marketing brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People can say what they want about Trump, but he definitely knows how to sell shit. He knows how to market himself. That's
weren't they pals when he was president? Like they hung out when they
did hang out when he
when
was president. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too about Trump, is that everyone was like, what the fuck was it? They were saying all the New York finance people, like all the people really on Wall Street, thought Trump was a joke. They know he was a fake rich guy. They go, he's not worth anywhere near what he says. Yeah. We know all this stuff. But the thing that businesses kept doing business with him, banks kept doing business with him, is because he knew his name meant something.
Right.
That it's still like
he had the brand, dude.
Yeah, it was a brand. And that's sadly what politics are. Look at the last couple elections. I mean, the 2016 election, Trump's been a brand name since the 80s, and Hillary had been a brand name since the early 90s.
Yeah.
And then Biden was just next in line this time around. It's almost impossible for an unknown person to gain a lot of traction without a lot of money behind them or making a lot of noise ahead of time. I think that's where we're at going forward. That's why when people say, oh, maybe The Rock should run, they're fucking serious. Then that's not even a hint of a joke. It's like, for real, The Rock should run. And then any other person who gets like Elon Musk should run, or this guy should run. Everyone always thinks that whoever is somewhat of a name that's a little successful, they should put them on a ballot. And it's like, look, you got to have more to it than just name recognition. But back, if we could talk about promoting comedy shit.
Yeah.
We talked about Andrew Schultz earlier. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Maybe you're in the know.
Yeah.
We both said we respected how he started his shit.
Yes.
Said that. I'll say this though. I think that shit he did a few weeks ago, saying I was going to release my special on a major platform, but the platform asked me to change some jokes, and I said fucking never. I think that's completely made up. I think he said that to get a lot of people to be like, oh, I really got to see this. What jokes did they not want to hear? Holy fuck. I do. I think that's a little, maybe not 100% a lie, but there's something there where I think he thought it's because now it's this forbidden fruit. I need to see what some fucking corporate douchebag, I got to see what Amazon or Netflix or fucking HBO didn't want me to see. Fuck them. Free speech, baby. We're going to stick it to the man. We're going to have Schultz make millions off of this and really show those fuckers. And hats off to you, dude. That's a genius strategy.
It's very smart.
Do you think that's what he did?
I think that it was smart to say all that. That is what I'll say.
Okay.
It was smart to say all that. I did watch the special, though. I did buy it, and I watched it. What is going on in Madison, Wisconsin? They are screaming out there. I will say that some of the jokes, subjectively, personally, were not up to the standards that I would have picked for certain platforms. I think that maybe,
there's some truth, maybe.
There's some truth to it. And either way, it was very smart of him to say what he said. That's what I'll say about that.
For sure.
I mean, I'm not like an insider with him. Like, I don't know him, but I had to fucking see it. I watched it. Really, I watched it because I wanted to see if my fucking mix was better in the Sam Morril special, and it is. And like the production value and all that. But yeah, the content is certainly content in it, and it is Andrew Schultz telling jokes. That's what it is. So we could talk about it off air if you want. But
All right.
It's
All right. All
yeah,
right. We're getting
yeah,
a little marketing 101 here, a little strategy. No, there's some people out there. I remember there was this huge piece of shit. I was only just reminded of it today. There was this podcast that I think like 3 12-year-olds listened to way back in Chicago comedy history. Can't remember what the name of it. Fucking super huge loser ran it. Forget the guy's name, David Michaels or something.
yeah.
Anyway, just like a guy
Rings
who
a
just
bell.
said the most outrageous shit, like a shock jock, a pathetic
Yeah.
person who had no friends,
But
and
like
then he
shock jocks,
stole.
weren't shock jocks actually funny though? Like I remember this guy.
Occasionally,
just
this guy
said
wasn't funny at all.
words.
So you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Shock jocks actually were funny occasionally. This guy was
Yeah.
never funny,
Yeah.
and just pathetic. And what was really pathetic was he stole all this money from his like 9 fans,
Yeah.
and stole money from like all these other comedians. So then like the comedy club that he thought he was a part of, but he never was. He just pretended to be, kind of like Trump in a way. He was like, "Oh, I own this."
Yeah.
That didn't even own a light bulb in the place.
Yeah.
He lost all that because everyone hated his guts and he was such a fucking loser that it was really easy for that guy to go away. You know what I mean?
He's got a nice studio now though, so it works, I guess.
He probably killed his parents to inherit the money for the nice studio now. He was one of those dudes that was always like, my podcast is one of the most listened to podcasts. And you're like, there's rankings on these platforms.
Yeah,
They tell us these things.
I've seen the rankings, and I don't recall seeing this one at all ever. Actually, not.
Well, I
even
think
high,
he's in the
but,
chat now. So
Oh yeah.
if,
Oh, is
if
that-
he's listening, I hope the chlamydia cleared up. Anyway,
this person. Well, I'm not gonna make myself part of this. I'll talk.
no,
to
we'll
you.
move on to cool shit, my man.
But anyway, so Schultz, I will say, like, Schultz's special, it was a good special though. Like, it was very good. There were some jokes in there that I didn't care for, but like, it's definitely worth buying. I'll tell you that. It's beautiful. It's one of the prettiest specials I've ever seen.
Where did he shoot it? Was it at Radio City Music Hall?
Gramercy?
Oh, Gramercy.
I'm pretty sure it was a Graham. And I filmed there this year with Nigel Ung, Chicago comedian, turned international food superstar. So weird and great, but so fucking weird. And he's, by the way, they're filming his new hour in a couple months. Solid. So be on the lookout for that, Nigel Ung.
I like that dude a lot.
He's really cool,
Super
man.
nice guy.
Really cool. But we filmed him at Gramercy, and it looked nothing like what it did in the Schultz. They went all out on production for that, and it's very nice, almost perfect audio mix, almost. Yeah. So but it's worth checking out for sure. But and
Did you watch
re-release?
You watch Bill Burr's live at Red Rocks?
Yes, I did.
Not talking about the content because there's some great jokes there. Of course, it's Bill Burr.
Amazing
come on.
jokes. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. But the way it was shot, I got to say, there's some. I'm like, why am I being blinded right now? They were doing that behind the. They do the behind the comedian angle, which I know some directors love because it's like, look how it really shows you being small in this massive audience. But it doesn't work when Bill moves and I'm seeing a spotlight blinding me while I'm on my fucking couch. I mean, that's just a stupid shot. I don't know whoever the editor was. I don't know why they didn't say, okay, could we at least make that like a half second so it's not as irritating on the eye?
I mean, editing specials is hard. I'll say that right off the bat. And the director, Mike Binder, I don't know how to say his last name. But he does a lot of Bill stuff, I think.
And they're great. Most of it are great. I just had and I don't mean to criticize. I said 15 minutes ago, I had the comedians back, and now I'm up here going like, do you think Schultz lied? And what about Bill Burr's terrible angles? You know what I mean?
Look, I hope people criticize my shit because if you're criticized, hopefully you learn what's real and then you grow from it and become better. But I think that there were definitely better shot. Red Rocks is also an interesting shape. Like it's slanted straight, like it's like a 45-degree grade all the way down, and so that's got to be really hard for like camera positioning to be like creative with. Then they took like there was an angle that they used a lot, not to get super fucking nerdy about this shit, but like there's this school of thought when you're directing a comedy special where it's like, okay, I want to, when I'm watching this, I want to feel like I'm part of the audience. Like that's kind of the whole thing. But there's an angle they used where it was literally like you're looking at the top of, like, it's like this, like Bill looks like this on camera, like half the special. That's like one of the main hero angles they were using, and it didn't work. And the behind, again, yeah, I 100% agree. The second they went to that behind the back shot, you know what they were trying to do. It just didn't work. But the editor or the director or both were like, it's such a cool shot, and it is when it works, but it has to be in there. So, you know, again, the content was great. The mushroom story, amazing. Like
amazing.
It's really cool to see that side of Bill, because he's always just so like, man, like I'm so mad. But like he's the soft, cool side of Bill. That was cool to see. But there were some choices in that I don't think I would have made. But it's still a really, really good special, I think. So
No, it's yeah. I mean, and I don't know. Sometimes I talk out loud a little bit, or I'm hearing myself, and I'm thinking, who cares? Is it funny? At the end of the day, is it fucking funny?
yeah, is it funny?
Can I hear it? It just, you only notice I only noticed it because I remember as I was watching, being like, what the fuck? Why am I being blinded out of nowhere? Sure. There was a few shots that just really stood out. And yeah, maybe they're trying something different. The two of those guys, I think, as you said, have worked together a lot. I know he switches it up every now and then because people like to use different sets of eyes here or there, but yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird choice, I thought. And everyone's
there's also, who knows what was going on. Like maybe that, like when you're editing a special, again, like you never know what they actually have to work with. Maybe some of the cameras were down and you weren't able to work with the angles you needed to work with, so you had to go to that angle. You know, there's all kinds of reasons why. But I just want to cover my bases in case anyone gets mad at me for saying this shit. I thought it was a great special, Mike. It was great. You did
Mike,
a great
you're the
job.
Best, dude. I'll fire James and hire you now.
Yeah, work with Joe. I'm the worst. You're the best.
No, James, you're way too fucking nice too, man. Because a few seconds ago, I heard you. I was thinking of like, oh, he can't even. It wasn't that you were going to say anything negative about anyone, but you were saying if it was me doing it, and I'm like, oh, you're still like looking for the nice thing to say. You would tell him, oh, I'll try to fix this in post, or we'll fix that angle later, instead of just being
sometimes shit happens, man. You don't know. I guarantee you people are going to watch, the Sam special or the Kenny special, or, there's mistakes I made in every special I've ever done. It's just.
No, it's fucking insanely hard to film something and get it right.
It's very hard.
There's a lot of moving parts, and it's live. It's a live show, and
yeah.
I've been at live tapings where the comedian will be like, "All right, I'll say that again." Like he'll stumble and then stop,
sure,
and then say it again. And to me, that's weird because you're really breaking that wall with your audience that's in front of you.
Yeah.
Obviously, the audience at home will never see that because you edit that part out. But like I had an incident where it's on my YouTube where the CO2 machines that produce Coke and Diet Coke and stuff all of a sudden started going off real loud, and it was like psh, psh, psh.
That was an outtake from the second one, wasn't it?
It lasted for like 4 minutes. It's like a 4-minute clip I posted.
Yeah, that was from the second special, right?
The second one, yeah. I'm sorry, that's what you said. The second one. I thought you said it lasted a few seconds.
No, it's an outtake from that one. Yeah, I remember editing that and sending that to you, and you were like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "This is content, is what it is." Baby.
No, you were right. Well, I think you wanted it originally in there, and I was like, you know what? We'll use it for a bonus, which was smart of you to.
Which was
the way you did.
That was a good idea.
People loved
the right
it.
Call there. Yeah,
that clip did pretty well. I think it's got like 10 to 20,000 views or something, which is pretty good for an outtake on a comedy special from a comedian no one's ever fucking heard of. But dude, here's where you were really nice. You were like, if people are criticizing the stuff I do, well, then I'll try to learn from it. I thought you were going to say if people criticize me, at least they're fucking watching, which is what.
Also that, please watch.
That's part of the game now,
Yeah. I mean,
like, think about Chappelle.
Good press. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, well, but also like, I don't even think that's relevant because he's a god. Like you can't even talk about it. Like no matter what he does, people are going to watch, criticism or not, like they're going to watch. I
agree with that. And that's what kills me about the people who don't like Chappelle's stuff. Cause it's like, dude, it's his fifth one in the last 3 years or 4 years, 5 specials in like a 4-year period. Cranking them out. And you were angry at all of them. Like if you hate something, why are you still watching? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I want to keep, if every Bo Burnham special, he was like, people who look like Joe Kilgallon need to be murdered. Round them up in a concentration camp. I wouldn't be like, ooh, here comes his sixth special. I wonder if he's going to say something that's going to piss me off specifically
Yeah.
again. Like, why did you keep watching?
You know you would. You would watch specifically for that. Come on, don't give it a shit.
Well, I mean, that was a bad example because
I
he's
know.
calling me out by name. But
But I mean, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, but that's again, that's part of the Kanye shit. It's the same thing Kanye's doing.
Man. All these people who are at that like level where they're like household names, they know how to keep those plates spinning of relevancy.
It's marketing, it's manipulation. Yeah.
Right. It made me think what would be hilarious if in Chappelle's next special, he does like 5 minutes about how much he loves the trans community and like makes jokes about how wrong he was just to see if people are paying attention or if they just automatically hate whatever he puts out.
That would be fun. That would be fun. Did you watch the college the speech he did, like the 48-minute speech that they put on Netflix for literally no reason?
No, I didn't. And it's mainly because I'm protesting Netflix for, look, every time there's a camera in front of Dave Chappelle, it's not a comedy special.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, what are you guys doing?
You throw it on your Netflix YouTube, but you're making I'm literally turning on Netflix because I want to continue to watch Seinfeld or New Girl reruns. And you're fucking going like Dave Chappelle and you're doing like the automatic trailer.
Yeah. Like, no, dude, this is not interesting to me. I did watch it though, because I'm a fucking mark. And like the end of that kind of made me not like him as much. He kind of aggrandized himself a lot he basically said, and this is kind of the thing, like, you know, if you're great, if you're like the best, never say it. Let other people say it for you. And he was just like, you know, I'm fucking, can't remember what the exact quote was, but he was like, I'm fucking Dave motherfucking Chappelle, like I'm a god or some shit. And it was like, whoa, but everyone loved it. They ate it up in the crowd. So it was so bizarre because what he was saying before that was just so inspiring. And then he was just like, but fuck everyone, I'm the best. It's like, all right, dude, calm down. I might be done with Dave right now. I don't know. After that, I was like, okay, dude, like you need to chill.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm not going to run. It takes a lot for me to like totally write someone off. I'm just too forgiving in nature. I really am.
Yeah.
I've had people in my life where everyone's like, you still like that guy? And I'm like, I liked him for so long, even though now I know they suck or I shouldn't like them. I still kind of,
give people chances,
you know, unless you're a rapist or a murderer, I could stick by you for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But if you murdered a bunch of rapists, then everyone's cool with you.
Look at you spinning that.
That should be cool. Like the spinoff to Dexter, where it's a person, you know, Dexter was a serial killer who killed serial killers. There should be a murderer who murders rapists. So people are just like, I guess it's kind of cool. Or make it a woman.
There you go.
Isn't that what that movie was about?
Which one?
There was a movie called like Bright Young Woman or something like that.
What is this? What is it called?
What was that movie called? Yeah, you Google that. Bright Young Woman. Or no, something. It came out like a couple years ago.
Bright Young Things?
No. The fuck? Something Young Woman?
We're getting in the weeds here, Joey.
We are. This isn't good podcasting anymore. Something Young
Woman in the Sea. How Trudy Ederle conquered the English.
Promising Young Woman.
Promising Young Woman. There we go. Young Woman.
Yeah, because she was a once promising med student. I think she had this like trauma.
Bo Burnham's in it. Okay.
Yeah. He is.
Allison Brie. Good cast. Laverne Cox. Holy shit. Jennifer Coolidge. Stifler's mom. Let's go, dude.
Dude, Stifler's mom had a tweet or some interview where she said, do you know how much dick I've gotten because I'm Stifler's mom? She's just talking about how like she would walk into places and people are like, oh my God, you're Stifler's mom. And she'd be like, yeah, you want to fuck? And some douchebags were like, oh, what a slut bag over this. And I'm like, dude, I'm so sick of these nerds on the internet getting mad when women admit to liking sex as much as we do. Why are you against that? I don't
Especially
understand.
Especially Stifler's mom. Oh my God.
Right?
That was like the gold standard of moms. Like, what are you talking
She is the first ever MILF.
Yeah.
Stifler's mom.
She's the queen of MILFs.
Yeah. The term MILF was invented in reference to her character in the movie American Pie. And she has now spawned off a category on Pornhub. You know what I mean? Like, like think about that. Of course she's going to spin that into getting some sex out of the deal. Why wouldn't she?
Can you imagine
being
like,
not to?
the abiogenesis of an entire pornography category just by the way that you make people horny. That would be amazing.
Is any other living person responsible for a category
No,
on websites like she is?
I don't think so. She's destroyed more young men's laptops than any other woman alive, I think, just by being so hot and a mom.
And now every 26-year-old mom who still got it rocking, when they push a stroller down the street, they think, I hope I get called that from some car driving by. Or maybe they don't. They probably think I want to be left alone.
Yeah, probably that. Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Can't call me, please. That's what every woman is saying for sure.
Ron Grant in the chat thought we were talking about the movie Hard Candy. Now, Hard Candy was with, hold on. Fuck.
Juno, right? Fucking
Elliot Page.
Elliot Page, yeah.
And phenomenal acting. When I first saw that movie, it was like, holy shit. I don't know who they are, but the acting is insane. And the bad guy, I want to say, is Patrick Wilson's the guy. I can't remember the guy's name in Hard Candy. But it's a movie where basically it's about this
Patrick
young
Wilson. Yep.
Patrick Wilson. Yeah, it's about a young teenage girl who like she's in a coffee shop and this dude in his like mid to late 30s starts talking to her. He's like a photographer. We'll go back to my house and do this. And she knows he's a scumbag who'd been banging teenage girls or raping teenage girls or something, like underage girls. And so she like, drugs him and does all this stuff, but then he's begging for his life going, you got the wrong guy and all this stuff. So you start to think maybe it is the wrong guy. And is she going to kill him? What is she going to do? Because she's basically telling him you have two choices. Either you kill yourself after you come clean or I kill you. Some weird dilemma she gave him. I can't remember. I saw the movie once. Actually, you mentioned Kenny DeForest. I watched it with Kenny DeForest, high out of my mind, in Megan Gailey's parents' basement.
What a fucking environment to watch
Megan
that.
Gailey wasn't there.
Okay, good.
She was cool enough to be like, oh, you guys are passing through Indy to do a show? You could stay with my parents. That's how awesome Gailey's parents were. They're like, yeah.
That's dope.
And I remember both of us being like, and him being like, dude, what if this guy didn't do it? And I'm like, I know, right? But I think it turns out that he was the perv, the pedo.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah, I just read
spoiler alert,
synopsis,
hanging out. All right, James, dude, it was great talking to you. This has been episode 200 of the Joe Kilgallon podcast. Remember, we used to do like 3-hour long episodes stuff in your studio, which was just way too long. I keep the podcast to about half an hour when I'm rocking solo. With a guest, I try to do no more than an hour or so. So tell people where they could find your stuff, man.
You can find my stuff on other people's YouTube pages is where you can find my stuff. Check out Kengar's special, Ken Garr on Kengar's YouTube. Pat Tomasulo's latest special, What a Time to Be Alive, on Pat Tomasulo's YouTube channel. Sam Morrill coming soon on A Place that I can't say yet. And Sam's about to do a press tour, so definitely just follow Sam Morrill on Instagram and TikTok, and also comics. If you're watching, you know what I'm going to say, Joe. You know what I'm about to say. Get a TikTok, fucking you idiots, comedians. Please get a fucking TikTok and post on it all the time, for God's sake. But follow Sam on TikTok, on Instagram. Keep tabs on him. He's next up, like in a really big way. And then I'm at the Chicago Pro on Instagram now. I no longer have a stupid username that no one knows how to pronounce. I
never knew what the fuck that was, man.
It was at it. I'll tell you. So it was like, because I was like being all edgy. I was like, oh, like social media is like it's cataclysmic. I'm gonna be cataclysm, like cataclysm. So yeah, it's kind of it's a little too smart for people, but I guess it was way too smart. So now I changed it to the Chicago Pro on Instagram. So go ahead and check that out for pictures of my dog and things that I eat, and
there
occasionally
you could also
pictures
catch
of clubs.
Yeah, you could catch James Webb behind the camera on October 1st at the Gutter in Brooklyn. The tickets will be
what's
up.
that all about? What is that? What's that for?
I'm filming everybody. This is like the new official update. I teased about the update, but the ticket link isn't live yet. So there'll be an official update with the ticket link. At the Gutter in Brooklyn, Comedians You Should Know, New York, I will be filming my 4th hour. It is my best hour to date. I can confidently say this is the best hour I've done. And I love my last 3 hours. So that says a lot.
Hell yeah.
And this one has the most meaning. It has the most, yeah, there's just parts of me that I've never really talked about on stage. Vulnerability, I suppose, but
Ooh.
still Joe Kilgallon through and through. Because I I got annoyed with a lot of comedy specials lately that everyone's like, well, there's a 10-minute chunk that's not really comedy and they're bearing their soul. And I'm like, well, then if it's not comedy, don't put it on your special. I really believe that. I really got annoyed whenever I heard people talk about, look, that there's a place for that. But at the end of the day, we're supposed to be funny. Talk about the shit that fucks you up. Talk about serious topics, all that kind of stuff, but make it funny. That's what makes comedians special. We take the dark and make it and bring some light to it, right?
Yes.
So when the ticket link will be up for that very soon. If you're in the New York area, please come out. If you're not in the New York area, come on out. We're gonna make it a party.
It's gonna be fun.
All you JKP podcast listeners. That's Joe Kilgallon podcast. I think I just did. Anyway, all you guys, come on out, man. If you were to fly out, if anyone out there is going to fly out to New York to go to it, I will get you a free ticket.
There you go. That's a deal right there.
That's a deal,
folks.
So all you got to do is pay very expensive airfare,
save $25 and go to New York
hotel, and save $20 to $25. We're not really sure what the tickets are going to be. It'll probably be like cheaper than $25.
$15.
You save $15. And a nice handshake and memories that'll last a lifetime. Just like the strip club. You're not paying for boobs to be rubbed up against your shoulder. You're paying for the experience.
That's right.
All right. And it's
have an experience.
There we go. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. It was fun doing it live. A lot of great comments out there. And I appreciate all you guys. Even one person I think was rabble rousing a little bit. Anyway. All right. You guys are the best. Cheers.
Cheers.